Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we discuss the weekend astrology of December 19th through the 21st, which brings us the Sagittarius New Moon, the Capricorn Solstice as the sun moves into Capricorn, plus Black Moon Lilith enters Sagittarius this weekend too. We have a few other transits that we'll cover, but overall there's a lot going on this weekend. And there's certainly a lot working with our higher consciousness. So I do want to start by discussing that the Sagittarius New Moon at 28 degrees will be exact at 8:43 p.m. Eastern Time on December 19th. So it could be on December 20th for you, depending on your time zone. But this is a new moon that is bringing forth higher levels of consciousness and intelligence from the Galactic Center. Now, the Galactic Center, astronomically, is the core of the Milky Way galaxy, a massive energy center that has a very profound influence on us when we are aware of it. And it could be helpful to think of it as a broadcasting point, blasting out higher intelligence and cosmic consciousness throughout the galaxy, and then, of course, making its way to our solar system and our little planet with the Earth-based human experience. The Galactic Center is where we can feel that we know without knowing how, or that messages arrive faster than logic. You have revelations and insights, a sense that something bigger is guiding me. This could be a new moon where you're really tapping into more of these frequencies, and you could have new urges to live a truer life, whatever that means for you. And keep in mind that can mean making smaller adjustments than simply overhauling your whole life. Rather, you might simply intend during this new moon to tap into more of what your guidance is bringing to your awareness than ever before. The Galactic Center is future-oriented, highly intuitive, expands rapidly, and it could take us into some really exciting new life chapters here that unfold quickly. The Galactic Center is outside of the time-space continuum, so there's quantum leaps going on with this influx of energy. There could also be a sense of new fated developments coming through and arriving. Maybe you're getting visions of a new direction, new inspiration, and a sense of destiny, perhaps, is also coming through. So yes, these are very big concepts that this particular Sagittarius New Moon is activating, and then it takes us into Capricorn season. So the energy is very strong Friday and Saturday. Now, also on Saturday, we have other transits occurring right after this new moon as the sun in Sag squares Neptune in Pisces at 29 degrees and Venus in Sagittarius squares Saturn in Pisces at 25 degrees. So we have two squares on Saturday that are going to ask you to be adaptable and flexible around your expectations and plans, that things aren't going to line up or play out exactly as you thought. In fact, there could be delays, cancellations, or slowdowns that are inconvenient. It's definitely a go with the flow type of day. You could even feel that your energy is more ungrounded, disoriented, and scattered on Saturday. Now that sun squaring Neptune and Pisces at 29 degrees, this is the last time in our lives we have this square. And so here is the robust, confident sun in Sagittarius coming up against the spiritual elder and ancient wisdom of Neptune and Pisces, asking you to check in with what are you traveling with in this lifetime that perhaps you've called forward from previous lifetimes, timelines, and experiences that you're realizing maybe you've been disconnected from the fullness of your soul's wisdom. Because I feel like this particular square between the sun and Neptune is making adjustments to our sense of self at a core level, what we thought our life would be perhaps at an unconscious level, but realigning you with new dreams and potentials that can arrive and come in if you're able to release your assumptions or expectations of how it's supposed to look or how you thought it would be. This is very magical energy. And I feel that part of this square between the planets in Sagittarius, which are masculine, and Pisces, which is feminine, is a deeper integration of our feminine intuition with our masculine bravery that's ready to set off on a new adventure. But in order to get further on your path in this lifetime, we've been required to integrate more of our spiritual understandings, principles, and practices to support how far we can go without being overly invested in just the human experience. Neptune is in Pisces only for another month. And so this could be a time when you're looking at how much you have grown and evolved since Neptune first entered Pisces back in 2011, and how that has continued to shape and reshape your worldview, your personal ideology, what you put faith in, how you're able to summon greater hope and trust in yourself, even as parts of your life transition and close out permanently. So it's a very interesting dance. In fact, I was just talking with a friend of mine a few days ago about how it feels like we're holding multiple things simultaneously, that we are aware of what requires our immediate attention in the present moment, but that we're also tapped in to these other timelines that are now readily available and highly active in our reality. And that it could feel like this year especially has been requiring you to make some very clear choices around where you're going to direct your energy and invest in as you close out one timeline more thoroughly and step fully into the next one that's already here. So we were just talking about, it feels like we're really holding very different energies simultaneously, and that can be confusing. That can be very odd to even understand or work with. And I feel like this could be a weekend where that is heightened as you sense more of what is leaving that previously connected to who you were. This relates to both of these planets in Pisces, Saturn and Neptune, which are showing you what you are dissolving, closing out, and moving away from. I know I sound like a broken record because I keep talking about this since it's in the astrology, and guess what? I'll be talking about it for at least another month. But that's the energy of being intentional with, this is closing out for me, and I can be at peace with it. I can accept it. I honor what has been brought to my awareness and what I've learned. I'm able to release those versions of who I was because I now fully sense that what has been forming and coming together inside of me is stronger and brighter than ever. So this weekend is a beautiful opportunity to tap into how much you have evolved in ways you probably never even considered or thought would be possible. And this energy leads us to the stillness of the Capricorn Solstice, which will be exact on December 21st at 10:03 a.m. Eastern Time. And the solstice is when the sun reaches a stillness point. So it is a point of listening, stopping, reflecting. It's a beautiful time to be in your own sacred space and reflect upon what matters to you, what you really value, desire, and want, as well as self-recognition around how far you've come, whether that's this year, the past 4 years, the past 10 years, and really look at the strength and determination you've summoned on your journey during this particular big period of time on the planet. I mean, we know this decade is intense and it's going to continue to be. We're going to have more accelerated energies moving into 2026. There's going to be a lot that continues to evolve and dramatically change our human experiences. And so that's required even more from us. This could be a weekend where you really acknowledge how strong and adaptable you've been, how you've been able to stay the course and keep going with fortitude. The winter solstice, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, is associated with Yule, and it is a time of looking at what is in your life, having appreciation and gratitude for what you have built, what you have mastered, what you have experienced, what has brought you to this particular place on your journey. The Capricorn energy is very pragmatic, masterful, wise, and observant. You might even feel that you are able to connect with ancient wisdom, either from your own lineage or family, or even from other lifetimes and dimensions that are showing you more of what you're traveling with that supports you, that strengthens you. Because I feel that part of the peace and quiet of this Capricorn solstice is about the self-acknowledgement of your soul in the physical world, existing in this present moment, but that is deeply rooted and tapped in to ancient wisdom, practices, and traditions that you can call on for support. I'm seeing it as an anchoring energy. So, of course, trust if that resonates. But a solstice is meant to bring us to a stopping point, to a stillness, to listen. And this could be a period of time when you're listening and hearing more of the soul's wisdom that's available to you that can even answer questions you're contemplating with, you're wrestling with, you're trying to figure out. Because as we move through this solstice portal, we also have Jupiter in Cancer squaring Chiron retrograde in Aries at 22 degrees. It's their second exact square that's exact on the Capricorn solstice. And they're both retrograde. Jupiter's retrograde, Chiron's retrograde. So there's more of that internal heightened dialogue that's going on that I feel reiterates the theme of the solstice here, of turning inward and listening to the information and messages that might be stirring around within you. That Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is pulling you back to previous lifetimes, memories, soul experiences, and timelines that you're learning from, which is always one of the higher directives of Jupiter. What am I learning from this? How can I grow and expand from this? How am I becoming a more emotionally evolved version of myself because of this energy or these experiences? So Jupiter wants you to connect with what feels truthful for you. And then this Chiron retrograde in Aries is revealing more of your authentic self that relates to your healing gifts and abilities that maybe you didn't know you possessed. Now we know that Chiron is the wounded healer, and Chiron's mission is to reveal that wound, to show you what that is, where there is hurt, pain, sensitivity, vulnerability, and then to guide you through ways of caring for yourself, especially in Aries, that shows you how you are here to be your own healer. And so it can bring up the wounded warrior energies. It can bring up what you've rejected or haven't fully loved in yourself. Chiron is ultimately taking you on another internal journey into how to love and accept yourself with greater confidence, courage, and independence. But the healing journey takes time. And that is something that Chiron reminds us of too, is that things can only go so fast. You can only move through the phases of healing as fast as the energies will support and allow you to. And of course, it depends on what's injured. The physical body will heal at one rate. The emotional body will heal at another. So this is bringing up anything from the past that you are personally healing, loving, and accepting in yourself that could be quite heightened at this time, but it's not new because both planets are retrograde and they've already had their first exact square that happened back in October 23rd. This energy is also quiet. It looks for ways of turning to sacred space, and listening to the messages within. So I feel this is basically one of the strong energies over this weekend where, yes, we have the buoyant, bright, and highly influential Sagittarius New Moon that is taking us forward into new frontiers. But with this Capricorn Solstice and Jupiter squaring Chiron energies also in the mix, perhaps we're all sensing that something is processing within us at a core level that really matters. This is worth it. This is going to pay off. Whatever you're processing and moving through and figuring out and sorting or maybe wrestling with it too, your ability to continue to be honest and brave with yourself is what's going to lead you forward, and also where there's going to be some profound turning points around how you're going to feel renewed and stronger in your sense of self. So even though these Chiron squares, especially ones that move so slowly, can feel like they drag on and you wonder, is there any progress here? Is anything really healing or changing? It's working at a deeper core level, and it's absolutely going to pay off as Chiron will station direct on January 2nd and have a new sense of strength. If something has felt weak, traumatized, or injured, the strengthening is happening internally. And even if there's no external validation of that just yet, it's on its way. It is going to be coming through. But the assignment right now is to focus on the internal work, especially any core wounds, deep emotions, or unresolved pain that's asking for your love and attention. So this is the quieter energy that's also quite strong over this weekend. And then one final thing that's happening is Black Moon Lilith enters Sagittarius on December 20th. And this is significant because Black Moon Lilith spends 9 months in each sign. So for the past 9 months, she has been in Scorpio, and now she's entering Sagittarius for the first time in 9 years. Black Moon Lilith is the energy of the disruptor, the rebellious force that wants to dismantle and destroy anything that isn't in alignment with her truth. She is instinctual, wild, primal. She is a force to be reckoned with. And as she moves into Sagittarius, she's ready now to take on any belief systems or traditional spiritual practices that don't align with her. She can feel like she has the best answers, that she is superior or righteous. She has very powerful worldviews, and she is learning a lot about herself by diving into some of these darker, hidden realms of herself in Sagittarius. I am going to do a separate podcast episode for you discussing Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius, because there's a lot more to dig into here. But I just wanted to give you that heads up that she moves into Sagittarius on December 20th, and she will stay in this sign until September 14th, 2026. Because of this transit, there can certainly be more revolutionary acts around religion, cultural traditions, ideologies. Black Moon Lilith comes into an astrology sign and activates its shadow. She brings it to the forefront and reveals what's been happening behind the scenes or in the shadows. She shows more of our true feelings and emotions that have been buried, not socially acceptable, and too fiercely independent and wild to be tamed. She doesn't want to follow anyone's rules or be held back from her innate raw power. So this could be a big weekend of that energy coming forward, especially expressed through the feminine, which Black Moon Lilith represents. And so there could be some very strong demonstrations of unfiltered honesty, brutal truths, at least from a personal perspective, more fanaticism, restlessness. Dogma can be very big with Black Moon Lilith now moving into Sagittarius. So again, I'll talk about this more in a separate podcast episode, but it's an important shift to be aware of as it's unfolding this weekend, right after that Sagittarius New Moon. So it's quite an interesting weekend, and I hope that you're feeling the higher frequencies as they beam in. It certainly could be more difficult to sleep and be settled as our intuitive energies are more awake and more online than ever before. But I hope you also tap into some beautiful, loving messages as the sun enters Capricorn and we experience that Jupiter Chiron square for the second time. On Monday, we'll go into more of the energies that await us next week as we move into the holidays and many of the traditions that are associated with Capricorn season. So wishing you a beautiful Sagittarius New Moon, and I hope that this weekend brings you some beautiful, insightful messages. Also wishing you great peace and an honoring of stillness during that Capricorn solstice. May you hear more of your soul's wisdom. May you feel beautifully present in your current reality. And may you also feel a beautiful gratitude for who you are, what you're moving through, and what you are moving towards as we move into the new year. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to connecting with you for our next show. Take good care, and I'll see you in Capricorn season.